Hello and welcome to the Keys Admissions Office. Today we're going to be taking a step behind the scenes and asking our lovely co-workers Vicky and Chris some hard-hitting questions about what really goes on at Keys Admissions. I'm here with Vicky, who is our undergraduate admissions officer. What is it that you actually do in admissions?
So here in the admissions office, we deal with everything from general inquiries right at the beginning of your application process right the way through to when you actually join the college in October.
Dr. Chris Scott is our tutor for admissions and outreach, and he's kind of in charge around here. So I'll have a knock and see if he's in.
Come in.
Thank you.
Have a seat.
So what do you actually do in admissions?
So my role is tutor for admissions and outreach, which means I oversee the admissions process in college at Keys, and I also lead the college's strategies to widen participation.
So what happens if something goes wrong, if I make a mistake on my application?
The best thing to do is not to panic, and then to drop us an email or get your school to drop us an email or a telephone call. Emails is always better because we've got everything sort of in black and white. We'll reply as soon as we can, and then we will sort the problem out as best we can.
Do you actually read all the personal statements?
Yes, I read around 1,000 personal statements every year very thoroughly. So yes, you can be absolutely confident that a real human is on the end of your application reading your personal statements. They're not going through a machine or anything like that.
So what's the best thing I could put in my personal statement?
I think the best thing you could put in your personal statement is a genuine account of you as a potential academic and your interests in the course you've applied for, the reading, the listening, the watching you've been doing so far kind of naturally.
What's the worst thing I could put in?
The worst thing you could put in, I think, is something that you haven't read or watched. That doesn't create a good impression. If you are asked about it in an interview and you have to reveal that you haven't read The Hunger Games or whatever it is, that will not create a good impression.
Why is there such a long wait between submitting my application, interviews, and then finding out the decision?
There is so much involved in the application process. We actually receive the application and then we have to look through everything to make sure we've got all the information we need. Then we ask for written work and then we organise all of the tests. And then we have to arrange all of the interviews. Then the interviews themselves have to take place. We have the winter pool. There's so many processes that we have to go through and there are so many people involved in those processes as well that to get all of that information back to us takes such an amount of time, which is why it takes so long for it all to be pulled together properly and coherently.
So obviously the personal statements are important, but how important are other things like GCSEs or your predicted grades or your performance at admissions tests?
Okay, 3 things there. They're all important. They're all really important. It's a holistic process. We're really trying to get a sense of you as an individual, so everything is weighed up individually. GCSEs, most successful applicants have a good number of 8s and 9s at GCSE. A significant minority will have a small number of 8s and 9s. There'll be a very small minority with no 8s and 9s at all, mostly 7s. If we start getting below that, then we'd be looking for some kind of extenuating circumstances, some kind of reason why that GCSE performance is that low. On admissions tests, again, I would answer in a similar kind of way. They're important. Holistic process. Predicted grades, yes, important, really important if possible to be predicted the typical offer. If you're just off the typical offer, you may well still get an interview. Some people even get in if they have to meet the typical offer in the end. But the best thing you can possibly do is be predicted that typical offer. So maybe have a conversation with a teacher in the subject which is bringing you down and say, what do I need to do to convince you that I deserve my A or A-star prediction?
Has an application ever got lost?
And luckily, no, everything comes through to us electronically, so we have everything all in one place. We've got a database with all of the information on we need, so there's absolutely no chance that anything can go missing.
Okay, so everything's kind of pretty organised, right?
As much as it can be.
So I read in the news that you're less likely to get in if you go to an independent school. Is that true?
The news is full of things from all sides. No, it's absolutely not true in the sense that there's no bias in the admissions process. We genuinely want the best possible students, the students with the most academic potential, irrespective of background. Every year, in general, more and more people apply. More and more people apply from backgrounds with less history of application to Oxford and Cambridge, which tend to be from the state sector. And therefore, as it gets more and more competitive, the number of students from that sector that are getting in is going up, and the number of students that are getting in from the independent sector is slowly going down. However, students from the independent sector are still very much well represented and overrepresented compared to the picture of national education more broadly. I think it's very fair to say. So no, you certainly are not at any disadvantage, no matter what background you come from. We really want the best people at the end of the day.
So I've heard that if you get offered a place at Cambridge, you have to sign a form saying that you have enough money to come here. So how much money do I actually need to be able to afford to go to Cambridge? And what happens if I don't have that?
It depends on whether you're classed as a home student or an international student, depends on how much you are charged. The best place to go is always look on the internet, the university website, for the updated fees and figures. There is help available. I mean, we have the Cambridge Trusts. Again, they have different bursaries and schemes and things that you can apply for. It doesn't apply to everybody, unfortunately. It's possible, if you don't have enough finances, there is a little bit of help. We have our own Keys bursaries and financial aid as well, so do look on our website as well. Hopefully we'll be able to help you. Student finance is available for home students. Again, all the information is available on the website and on the government website, so do have a look on there as well.
So with interviews, what if I'm nervous or I'm ill or something goes wrong in my interview? Will I be penalised for that? Will I not get in?
No, absolutely not. Interviewers are really keen to put people at ease in the interview. It's not in our interest to be putting you off or trying to ask you questions to catch you out in any way, because we're spending time doing it. We want to find the best possible people, and we do that by making sure you give the best possible account of yourself. If you're ill, you can write to the admissions office of your college before you go to the interview, maybe get a doctor's note to say this may affect my performance. We can take all of that into account. So don't worry about it too much, basically.
What's one secret piece of advice that you can share about the admissions process?
From an administrative point of view, I would say get everything to us in a timely manner. We have lots of information coming into us, and to chase everybody takes a lot of time, which then delays the application process. So get everything into us in a timely manner and read all of the information that we send to you, because we get so many questions come through to us when the information is readily available.
What's one secret piece of advice that you can share about the admissions process?
There aren't any secrets, I would say. That's possibly the secret piece of advice, but that's a very annoying and academic answer, maybe. Think very hard about your choice of course. You want to be picking something which you are naturally attracted to. When you come to write your personal statement and think about university course choice, I would start from the point of, not what do I want to study, but what have I been interested in so far? And if you find that you've naturally been drawn to things like French poetry or maths problems, then that is the subject in the course that I would recommend that you look at applying for, rather than starting from the end point and then looking backwards.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
No, thank you.
I feel like I've learned a lot about the admissions process.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Very nice to talk to you. See you later.
And ask.
So that was our colleague Vicky. I was just waving goodbye.
The way you were approaching me was so menacing, because you had it above your head and you were like...
I don't want to be menacing.
So I am
I had a gimbal error. It went up. I'm so sorry. That was so good, guys. It just went way for no reason.
What is wrong